I do apologize. Okay, it is actually February 5th as of this live stream as we're taping this. Well, we're not using tapes. We're recording digitally. Okay, getting a little old school. All right. So if you don't know me, I am Dean, aka Wild Goldine. Over, I always get this wrong. Over here. Okay, and I am an educational streamer. So usually I always have to start with I usually start with the stream is starting, but we're gonna go straight to it. I've been late and I'm actually gonna talk about this on another episode, so to speak, when I stream again, of what happened. It's been crazy at work on which is actually technically February 4th, 2022, but it's been this this past Friday has been really crazy. February 4th, crazy Friday. So, you know, it's 1:53 a.m. New York City time at February 5th, and oops, I forgot to silence this one. Okay, silence this. Okay, so lots of COVID updates. First thing is in the US, the US COVID deaths are above 900,000 ever since the pandemic has started in the US back in January 2020. And this is coming from the New York Times, and this is pretty depressing, very, very sad. And it's it's something that we really have to talk about. I know everyone's tired of this, and that you know and all that stuff, but this is not this it's a grim milestone. I mean, if it that we're just not not far away from 100. I'm from 1 million rather. Sorry, it's been a crazy long day at work, which I'll talk about again in another stream. So 900,000 deaths ever since January of 2020. That's a lot of deaths for any kind of virus. This is crazy. And the cases, 70 it's over 76.2 million cases in the just in the US. And this is really disappointing. Very disappointing. If we did what we had to do, if we all worked together, I don't think we would reach that many millions of cases. I think we'd be go lower than that. Okay, and I don't want to hear, oh, we have a big population and this and that. No, this is a lot of the stuff is preventable, but we didn't do a good job at this. All right, the next thing is in London, they did there's one study where they did a human challenge trial. So basically, we get a bunch of young people, 36 young healthy volunteers, and expose them with COVID. Uh, I'll pass. I don't want to get COVID. So, but the COVID virus that they got is the wild type, which is the original Wuhan strain, before it mutated to alpha, beta, gamma, and all the Greek alphabets and all that stuff. So the requirement is that they must be unvaccinated and have no history of exposure to COVID. So what they did was they give a low dose as a droplet of the original COVID virus into the nose, and they're monitored for 2 weeks. Then they collect the results, and then they monitor them for 1 year. And the 1 year part is really to study more of the long haul portion of COVID. Oh, and that's another reason why I'm not sure. Well, I have more reasons why I am not getting into that study. No way, Jose. I am I even though I am unexposed, I am vaccinated with 3 doses, so can't get in there. I'm that's the exclusion criteria. That means I am not eligible for this study. And I live in the US. I'm not in London. But hey, I think that's something to relate to, right? Some It's to study the virus. So what they find is that after about 42 hours, they were tested positive for COVID. Keep in mind that the requirements for testing, especially with PCR, you test yourself 3 to 5 days after your suspected exposure. But again, all these data are preliminary, so they're still collecting more data. This is the data they got so far from its trial, from its human challenge trial. If you're brave enough to join. So they said according to the article, viral load peaked at 5 days post exposure, which kind of makes sense, and it can be detectable as far as 12 days post exposure, which explains why some people, well, actually, in the beginning, rather, not some people, but in the beginning, the quarantine was 2 weeks. Now in the US, it's only 5 days. And may, maybe the US should relook into this and put some specific guidelines, and they can't just say, oh, 5 days after you got tested positive, you're fine. Not everyone works like that. So, if the person is still sick and not feeling well, even after the 5 days, then they shouldn't be working. I have to actually remind myself too. But thank God, knock on wood, I'm okay. Never got COVID. I am waiting for a fourth dose, Moderna. Come on. Gotta let me know when I can get my fourth dose. Okay. So, and what they find is that the highest viral loads were in the nose. Yeah, of course, because you put the freaking you exposed COVID through the nose in the study. Maybe if you expose COVID through other places, you won't you won't get much of an exposure anyway. But it is of course, everyone knows the respiratory viruses, so no surprise there. Okay, and that's another reason why you should wear a mask. Okay, so again, highest viral loads were in the nose, and since you're breathing in and out, you you spread it and not even know it. And so out of the 36, half of them got infected, so they got sick with COVID. Okay, two of them are asymptomatic, and 16 had mild symptoms. Keep in mind, all 36 got tested positive after about 42 days after they were exposed to COVID. Out of the 36, 12 people lost the sense of smell, but they regained it within 3 months. Again, we're talking about the original strain, the wild type. It's going to be different for all the other variants. So they had a recommendation. If you're using a rapid test, uh, preferably lateral flow test, so they're the ones with the two lines, okay, if you get positive, and then one line if you're tested negative, simply because that one line, that's a control, what we call a control. We want to make sure that the test is working. Okay, you have to swab the throat and the nose. I don't know how to do that by myself though with the throat. I think it's gonna hurt. Oh my god. So, oh, we're not done yet. Now, in addition to Medicaid and some of the private insurances, I have Health First under the private plan under the Affordable Care Act. They covered for my tests, so they're going to cover up to 8 per person per month. Medicare will soon follow. I didn't get the notice when, okay, but Medicare is planning to provide up to 8 free at-home COVID tests per person per month. So I'm gonna keep checking on that. In addition to that, I also got the news that the CDC director, Rochelle Walensky, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, has endorsed the FDA approval of Moderna's COVID vaccine. Now it has a brand name. It's called SpikeVax. For Pfizer, it's called Comirnaty. So those are the two approved ones. The thing is, it is approved for those. Moderna's vaccine, Spikevax, is approved for those who are 18 and older. Okay, and just want to let you know that Canada and the European Union already approved it for those who are ages 12 and up. So we gotta speed up the pace here. Come on, let's go. And they all Moderna also has to really speed up the pace, just like Pfizer, when it comes to age ranges. Right? Got to do it. Got to do it. Okay. Especially since we find that Moderna is actually a little bit better in terms of the longevity of the immunity compared to Pfizer. But again, data is not complete yet, so I can't say for sure that Moderna is better than Pfizer. So can't I can't make that kind of conclusion. Pfizer, because Pfizer is expanding on its age range, is seeking emergency use authorization for its COVID vaccine for those age 6 months up to 5 years. So if you're under five, okay, and then all the way to youngest age 6 months, okay, they're gonna do a two dose, which could be three, simply because those who are ages 2 to 5, when they got their dose, and keep in mind it's only 3 micrograms for that age range from age 6 months to 5 years. For some reason, even though it's safe, Pfizer what Pfizer found out is that for ages 2 to 5, they didn't get the immunity that they want. Okay, immunity isn't adequate enough for those in the 2 to 5 age range. So they're proposing to add a third dose, and that would be about 8 weeks or 2 months after the second dose. The first two doses, the time between the first two doses is still the same at 3 weeks. Now, for those who are ages 6 months to age 2, the 3 micrograms, the first two doses, produced adequate immunity. The other thing, and remember, 3 micrograms, that's 1/10 of an adult dose. So that's really, really, really tiny. Okay. Adult dose is 30 micrograms, 30. And that's for ages 12 and up. For ages 5 to 11, the dose is 10 micrograms. Next thing is that for Novavax is also seeking emergency use authorization for its COVID vaccine. It's different because it is not an mRNA, and it's not a viral vector. Viral vector meaning that they take a piece, of the virus. They inactivated it, of course, and then what they'll do is they put it in some kind of an empty cold virus, something like that. It's a vehicle, and you use that to immunize people. But this one, they use protein subunits. Novavax uses a technology that uses vaccine technology that involves protein subunits, and it's been used before, but it's been used in vaccines like hepatitis B and pertussis, which have been used for so many years. And if it is authorized, it's two doses, 3 weeks apart, but it's only for those ages 18 and up. They're kind of late in the game. But hey, if people are not into those mRNA vaccines because it's new, or the viral vector, maybe they're allergic. Actually, not allergic. It's just there's a high risk of blood clots. In this case, for Johnson and Johnson, and for some countries who do AstraZeneca, there's also a risk of blood clots. Maybe this can be another option, but it's not approved yet. So on the actually another thing I want to add for Pfizer, almost forgot to say, on February 15th they're going to do a meet. They're going to hold some kind of a meeting to discuss the emergency use authorization for Pfizer. It's still to be announced for Novavax though on when they're going to hold a meeting for that. And lastly, New York City will be providing home delivery of COVID pills. So we only have Paxlovid and Molnupiravir. You have to have a prescription, and it's the highest priority are the ones who are at high risk of severe COVID. Just keep that in mind. That being said, we're gonna get into the trains, and oh my goodness, it's a lot. Here we go. Let's see, can I do this? PowerPoint, and boom. Okay, now. So, oops, sorry, little glitchy. Okay, so people should know already. 2 and 3 trains skip Clark Street. Okay, so that's obvious. Also, you should also know that PATH trains 23rd Street and 9th Street will be, I'm sorry, 9th Street and 23rd Street will be closed 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. Okay, there's also something with PATH I will discuss in a little bit. Actually, I'm going to discuss it now. So, if I'm able to find it, let's see. Well, I can't find it here. Okay, so the thing about PATH on Sunday, so from 3 a.m. to 8 p.m., there are 3 lines for PATH. So there's one that goes from, and you're not going to see too much of it on this subway map. You'll see one that goes from 33rd Street all the way to Journal Square. The second part is from World Trade Center all the way to Newark Penn Station. And then there's a third one, and you're going to transfer this at Newport. So if you want to go to Hoboken, the only way to do this is you take the Journal Square 33rd Street line, and then you get off at Newport, and you take a shuttle train that runs between Newport and Hoboken. Usually on a regular weekend or at late nights, this train will go, the Journal Square 33rd will actually go through down here from 33rd, and then what it'll do is it will go to Hoboken, it'll stop for a little bit, and then it's going to reverse and then get into Journal Square. Okay, so that's that. The next thing, and bear with me because it's a lot. Eastbound 2, 3, and 4 trains will be express between Atlantic Avenue and Franklin Avenue. There's actually more changes to it, but I'll talk about it a little bit. I'm actually doing this based on the time, on time. So this will be happening now until 5 a.m. on Monday, the 7th. The next thing is northbound A and C trains go on the F between J Street and West 4th Street. And it will also go local northbound between West 4th Street and 59th Street Columbus Circle. So northbound A and C trains will stop at 23rd and 50th Streets. So going back to Brooklyn, westbound AC trains will go express between Broadway Junction and Utica Avenue, so we'll skip Rockaway Boulevard and Ralph Avenue westbound. Next thing, back to Manhattan, southbound A and C trains will be express between 59th Street all the way to Canal Street, so we'll skip 50th Street, 23rd Street, and Spring Streets. we get to the D train in the Bronx. Southbound D train skips 182nd and 183rd Streets. Next thing is E train is via the F between West 4th Street and 21st Street, Queensbridge. Also, in addition to that, eastbound E trains will be expressed between 21st Street, Queensbridge and Forest Hills, 71st Avenue. R train will also go express between Queens Plaza and 71st Avenue. These two trains will stop at Roosevelt, obviously. Next thing, this one is a bit complicated. Just a little bit. Trust me, it gets a little bit complicated from here with the other lines, but here's one here. So F and G trains. So the southbound F and G trains will be expressed between Smith 9th Streets and Church Avenue. It will make a stop at 7th Avenue station. The other thing is the northbound, by the way, D train is running, okay, between 205th Street and Coney Island, just letting you know. I have to update the maps. Okay, so next thing is northbound F is expressed between Avenue X and 18th Avenue, but it stops at Kings Highway over here. The other thing is that the special thing about this F train is that from 3:45 a.m. to 10 p.m., there is no F trains between Avenue X and Coney Island Stillwell Avenue. Keep that in mind, and you're going to have to use the bus for that. Okay, so sorry about that. I had to fix a little boo-boo on the text, but so far so good in announcing. All right. The next thing is northbound. Okay, I said that already. Next thing is 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. So 11 p.m. on Friday through 5 a.m. on Monday. So the northbound 4, 5, and 6 trains will be local between 42nd Street to 125th Street. The next thing is even more complicated. So keep in mind that there is no one train between 137th Street and 96th Street. You're going to be taking a bus. Good luck with that. Let's go south a little bit here. Northbound 1 and 2 trains skip 79th and 86th Street. And because of this issue going on between 137 and 96, the one train runs in two sections. So the first section is 242nd Street to 137th Street, City College. The other one goes from Harlem 148th Street. It's going to skip 145th Street because that station's way too short. So use the M7 or M102 buses at Harlem 148th Street or 135th Street. So again, one train will be going from 148th Street and it'll go local all the way to South Ferry. There's no 3 trains either, okay? So just letting you know. And your alternatives be 1, 2, and 4 trains. The 4 trains will extend to New Lots Avenue, but east of Nevin Street, it's going to go local. 4 trains will go local here. The only exception is that the eastbound 2, 3, and 4 trains will go express between Atlantic and Franklin. That's the only exception here, but all other else in Brooklyn, with the exception of 4 trains skipping Hoyt Street, it's going to be local. Because since the 3 train will not be running because of that, what's going on the Upper West Side. Next thing is Northbound N and R trains. They're going to go via the Q, via the Manhattan Bridge between Atlantic Avenue and Canal Street. And then the next one is there's no J train between Crescent Street and Jamaica Center. So a bus will run between Crescent Street and then it will go to Jamaica Van Wyck, where you can take the E trains to go into Sutphin and Parsons. The next one is that N train is going local in Brooklyn. Okay, this is to accommodate the F train riders. Now we get to the LIRR, and we're gonna switch maps. Okay, reason why I bring this up, this is one of the most complicated advisories I've ever seen. So bear with me, here we go. We're actually gonna zoom in even more. So, there's no Long Island Railroad between Mineola here and Huntington. So Mineola and Huntington over here. No trains between Mineola and Huntington. And the N22 and N24 nice bus, they're not that nice because they don't run often. Okay, they'll cross under the LIRR tickets between Hicksville and Mineola. So between these two sections here. Continuing with this, because since they're doing something going on at Carl Place over here, there's I think signal testing, whatever it is. You're gonna have these double-decker trains, and they're double-decker diesel trains. So they run every 2 hours. Those LIRR trains, they run between Penn Station and Ronkonkoma. Okay, Penn over here, and Ronkonkoma. But a little twisty twist with these double-decker trains. And bear with me with this one. Okay, between Jamaica and Farmingdale and Jamaica. So it's going to go via the Babylon line. So in this case, it will go through here. But as far as I understood, it's not going to make any stops between Jamaica and Farmingdale. So this is how it's going to go. It's going to go skip St. Albans, skip all of these. It will go to Babylon. It will not allow passengers in or let passengers out. It's gonna go. It's gonna change directions. It's gonna skip Bethpage. It's gonna go to Hicksville, and then it's gonna go to Farmingdale, and then make all these stops here up to Ronkonkoma. So that's coming from Penn Station. It's so weird. And then if it's coming from Ronkonkoma, it's gonna go here, and then it's gonna go to Hicksville, but it's gonna make only stops along this line. It's gonna skip Bethpage, go to Hicksville. It's not gonna let people in or let people out. And it's gonna go back here, go to Babylon. Not letting anyone in, not letting anyone out. And then it's gonna go express, and then through here, and then to Jamaica, and then it makes stops to Penn Station. That is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. I've never seen trains do these kinds of things. But maybe that's why it runs every 2 hours, because it takes some time and all that. Just also know that LIRR will be screwed up on the weekends. Really, really, really screwed up. So please be careful. Okay. So again, I apologize. It's for the late stream. Okay, a lot has happened because work has been really busy. Most likely, maybe on the next stream, I'll actually go maybe into detail. I don't know if it's going to be for Sunday night, or maybe I'll do a separate one, or maybe next week. I don't know. So you know, again, thank you for watching. Okay, and it's gonna be in the VODs. Don't worry. So let's see if I can raid someone. Actually, I have it. I have it on my. Okay, so refresh. Who do I see?
Diggity dog.
Last time?
Am I peeking now?
No.
Yes.
Oh, Junipat's having a spree here. You know, let's do a raid there. Okay, so let's do this.
Not yet, Easy. No, your name wasn't on the list when I. So you still have time to join.
All right, so
He liked both of them.
again, sorry about that. I know it's a little bit late, but in the words of them, have a good day.
Take my money.
Please be safe. And
Yeah, little quirky lemon. So
please
who
be
I have
healthy
is
and safe, of course.
Craig, Lily,
I'm about to sleep.
Robin,
Anyway, I will see
Quirky
you on the
Lemon,
next stream.
Paladin,
Bye-bye.
Megan, Necotrix. Easy.
Wait, who's Necotrix? Who's Necotrix?